Hi, I'm Ethan Oates,
Hey, I'm Joe Hoskins.
and today we're going to talk about uh, what the chief talked about, how they think that there is a witch doctor up in the mountain creating these giant beings. Because not all these giants have giant looking human faces, some of them have crazy looking alien looking faces, creature looking faces, horse, dog,
Yeah.
different varieties. And today we're here to talk about witchcraft. So when I got home, I started researching witchcraft, or I mean, witch doctor. Sorry about that.
Huh?
Witchcraft. I guess maybe it could be the same.
Well, that's what they're practicing. It's a
Yeah.
form of witchcraft. Yeah,
So
sure.
I started getting into this witch doctor thing and trying to see what I could find out and research why people
Yeah.
do the witch doctor stuff. I came across a documentary. It was really great. It was about an island. I'm not sure what the island was called. I don't recall. But this island, it was a pretty big island, and there's a lot of witch doctor going on. And this guy on this island, he's kind of like a resource where he goes around and he snatches up these kids that been a victim of it, and adults that been a victim of it. But there's a lot of kids. And he goes and takes these kids, and the government's behind him, backs him up, and people give him downwinds of who they think might be a witch doctor, and then he goes to their house, knocks on their door. If you don't open it, he busts your door in. I watched this
Yeah.
whole thing, and they look around for weapons. They look around, yes. So it's almost like narc of a drug dealer, and
Right, right. To
so
bust them for witch
yeah,
doctoring or
so they
whatever
go
it be.
bust.
Yeah,
Yeah, during the documentary, they go bust in this
crazy.
guy's house. They pull out a machete. They find a kid that he's been sliced across the neck. He wasn't killed yet, but he was sliced across the neck. Um,
Hmm.
and they do sacrifice these children. So that man saved that child, and when he busted in the door, they have walkie talkies. This man does. He walkie talkied the police. The
Yeah,
military police came in. They arrested the guy, took him off. They showed him go to court with the guy, as a witness for the state or the country it was.
yeah.
And that guy claims that kid and takes him in and takes care of him, and the government there funds him for this.
So he
So
gets
it is no
paid to take
joke
care
for
of
the government
it.
to be
Yeah.
funding it. So the government
That's,
funds him to house these children and to raise them and to take care of me. He has people there that, cook and do all different things. It's like almost like a uh, say facility place where people can't, you know, live their self, whatever. And these are
yeah,
children, so they can't take care of themselves. His big old place, big playground. So, he goes around, he starts to explain a lot of things. And these people, these witch doctors, they will take human bones and they will do some sort of spell and
yeah,
to summons the spirit of those bones to help them do something or
yeah,
whatever the case is, or to put a spell on somebody. There's a lot of learning about it, and there's a lot
yeah,
of hiding about it. So
yeah.
when you
Ancestral
try to learn
worship
about
type.
it, yeah, Joe, it's like it's it's really it's a lot of it out there, and it's a really tight topic
Well,
because it's like they explain so much, and that's it. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't go into
it's kind of
if it really works or why are these people doing it if it's not working. That's what I don't get,
yeah,
because these islands are full of them.
yeah. And
And
it's
so
not just a James Bond movie. There's a famous James Bond movie
yeah,
where they had the witch doctor in there. They called him the man who cannot die. And it's the reason they reference that is because it's a real thing from the islands. It's not a made up thing.
no, mm-mm,
These are things that to them are reality. When they tell you we think a witch doctor's doing this on top of the mountain, that is completely on the level. They're just giving you like, hey, if you go 2 miles down the road, there's a store. It's just information to them. And of course, if you are not intelligent enough to understand that, or to understand that the people you're dealing with are very intelligent people. And just because they live differently than us doesn't mean they're not intelligent.
Mm-mm.
They know very well how to exist there, and we plan on gleaning all the information we can from them. And we're not coming in as the looking down on them. We're coming in as we're excited to learn about their culture. You know.
So with all these people being witch doctors, not
Yeah.
only do men, females can be witch doctors as well. And
Yeah.
they showed in the documentary that there was
Wow.
female witch doctors as well. So they're called a witch
Wow.
doctor, not a witch whatever, because they're female. They
Yeah.
still are a witch doctor. And in this village, if they think you are doing anything with witch doctoring, or they
Yeah.
think you're a witch doctor, but they don't have any proof, the the military, army, police come in and kick you right off your property, out of your house, and everything, and just
Well,
you
just on the
you have to leave.
suspicion
They don't even
area.
let you get your shit. They just say go,
Yeah.
and with guns, and they get you out of
Yeah.
there, out of their village. Go. It's
Apparently,
wild.
bad things have happened with the witch doctors, and this is a thing that's maybe like yikes.
Yeah,
You
and it
know, we don't
starts to
have
make
that
you
going on.
wonder. All these people performing witch doctoring,
Yeah.
maybe that was part of the back in the day with the headhunters. Maybe
Yeah.
when they cut your head off, they did some kind of ritual spell. I mean, I've seen documents on people that been in the jungle with tribes, and they
Uh-huh.
have medicine men, or you know, I might even have heard maybe witch doctor before, or witch or something, and they were acting like he was all on some tree root all high. I don't know, man. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really hard topic to find out if this really works,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's people out there. I have friends and followers. I have a
Sure.
lot
There
of
are
island
people that
people.
know about it.
Somebody knows something, you
I'm
know.
absolutely positive it's based in reality and it's
Yeah,
not just a fairy tale
yeah.
story.
And
You
if
know.
if any of our followers anything, and you got any information on witch
Well,
doctors,
just
we would
I
love
think
to
the
hear it.
idea of headhunters, that's not a fantasy.
Yes.
There are tribes that actually did that. And
Yes.
on that note, it's always interesting that Solomon Islands you described, and I've seen them actually myself, found them on Google Earth, piles of giant skulls in different sizes.
Yes.
And let's stop and think about that for a minute that you see that. Uh, Here's what's happening. The first thing that you realize is these beings, which are supernatural, they have a supernatural ability to heal. And so, if you remember David and Goliath, David knocks the giant down with a stone, but he's quick to get on the giant and behead him with his own sword. So the point is, the giant isn't defeated until you've beheaded him. Is a general rule of thumb that I see over and over and over. Now, fast forward to today,
So let
when
me
we go to
explain something
Solomon's
with that,
Island.
Joe. Let me explain something with that.
Yeah.
Joe is telling you that, and now the reason why Joe is telling you that too, he's done research about it, and not only that, the chief has told me that some of these giants, if they lose a hand, get it cut off, or a foot, they regrow it like a lizard does, the
Yep.
tail.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
I
Yep.
asked, what? And I
Yeah.
was like, why? What? And he said it's a total different kind of DNA.
Well, and
It's
it's just the
they're
thing with
bigger
their
and they have a
bloodline,
different
their
kind
blood.
of
It's
DNA, and
I've heard them talk about things that just they'll hit something with a deadly disease, and these creatures just have this supernatural immune system that just boom. It's they can regrow things, and again, until you take their head off, you can't
makes you
kill
wonder now, Joe, if the Bigfoot do that. Do the
them. Yeah,
Bigfoot, if they lose a limb, can they heal? Because now
I
these
would not
Bigfoot
count that
aren't all
out.
there, man.
Yeah,
Obviously, there's way too many reports of them can disappear. And I
yeah,
used to think to myself before I wasn't a believer that,
yeah,
oh yeah, bullshit, disappear. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Now that people are telling me, and I'm like, okay, okay. But not only that, from my research, the
yeah,
chief telling me that he's seen with his own eyes these creatures disappear.
yeah. And again, I
So
would take what the chief said as
that's
pretty much
supernatural.
gold until you heard something different because what has he got to gain about, why would he, what, What's he gaining by making up a fantastic story? He's just telling you things that are everyday truth to him, you know.
Yes, and it's no big deal to him when he tells you. It's calm as can be, and
Yeah,
you're looking as he's telling you. You're looking at him like what, and you're
yeah,
giving him like, and you're
yeah,
going, oh my gosh, and I mean, you're just, and he's looking at you like something's wrong with you when you do
yeah,
that. It's like, okay, man, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
not normal in the United States for us to go, yeah, we got giants, man. Sometimes they bust my house down. I got to repair it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't hear that a lot. Yeah,
No,
that's
my
true. It's a
community, my
subject
town
that
don't
is
say,
not
"Oh yeah, the
well.
Giants came in and
Yeah,
busted the houses down, and some of them, and we're repairing them." And you know,
yeah,
that's what the chief. You know, we just had our village busted down not long ago. You know, and I'm in charge of repairing it as well because I'm the chief. That's what he told me.
yeah.
By giants,
He's just telling you the truth. Hey, we're having to fix
no
our
big
village because
deal.
the giant came
He's not
down and
even like, "Oh man," or bummed out, or "I got to do this," or "I got to work on." He was not even. It was normal.
yeah,
It was like I got to go cut the grass.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or
It
like
was normal, man.
we got to sweep up these palm leaves because a storm came last night. And hold on, you know, and it's just it's normality for them. And of
Normal.
course, to us, it seems fantastic, but you figure you've got a small island there. If there are creatures on it, it's just a matter of time before everybody finds out what's going on everywhere. And
Spiritual
then
people.
once you find out what's going on, how do you coexist?
Hmm.
You know, how can you coexist with these giants? They found a way to coexist. They're clearly giants on the island. They're clearly native peoples on the island. They found a way to
Everybody
coexist.
there is
That is
friendly. If
fascinating.
they are eating something, they'll hand it over to you. They'll offer you some. There's
Yeah,
nobody. So by me thinking when the tribal man took me up the mountain to see the giants, by
yeah,
me thinking, oh no, man, you're gonna kill me. You're gonna cut me in my
yeah,
neck. You know, take my necklace. You know, I was okay for thinking that because I grew up in, Michigan and
right.
outside Detroit. And Detroit,
You
a
come
lot of
from the
people get
streets,
you
yeah.
over there.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking that, but these people weren't like that. They were
yeah.
peace. They were so nice. And are you okay? You need
They were just
something?
on the level.
Yeah, man, it was,
That's awesome.
there's a lot of love there and there's a lot
Yeah.
of peace and but there's a lot of fear because they have to fear for those giants
Oh my gosh, yeah. I can't
every
imagine
day,
living
every
with
night,
that.
every day, every night.
I can't imagine living with
Not
that.
only do they fear just by being there, they fear when they hunt, they fear when they fish, they fear they are always on guard because of
Yeah,
that, you
it's
know.
just crazy. And just the thing that just again, I've studied giants a long time, and I found out a lot about them. But what I'm struck by every time I get into finding them is just the incredible variety. And it's generally not just one kind. And when I
No,
say that, some of them
it's
look completely human. They'll
hmm
have clothes, they'll have glasses,
yes.
they'll be
They have their
grinning,
own
they'll
tribes.
be
They have their own
they're
groups.
just
Some obviously are nice to the smaller,
yeah.
and
And
some aren't.
some
Yes,
of
because
them
the
look
chief,
like Frankenstein.
yeah,
Some
the
of them
chief
look like
does talk of
Godzilla,
the
lizard
ancestors used to
people.
have to go to the giants to take them to the king. So
Yeah,
therefore, obviously, going to the giants
yeah,
and trying to go see the king, you know what I mean? They were dealing with them. Those ones weren't hurting them. So,
right,
but he talks a lot of that hairy giant that disappears, which is our Bigfoot, and
yeah,
they're in their country in Guatemala in Salem's Island, those
yeah,
are mean. Those are
yeah,
mean for some reason. Maybe
yeah.
our government, maybe Japan did it to them when they went there and got chased off the
Well,
island.
yeah,
Maybe they made them mean. Maybe they do that to protect themselves. But those Bigfoot are mean
yeah.
and they will kill you.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
just
what the
like, well, there are
tribal
certain
people
things that are
and
just mean.
the chief talks of.
You say, oh, I'm going to go grab this Wolverine. No, you're not.
Oh,
No, there's certain things that you just don't grab, and these things are apparently like, hey,
mhm,
we're not having it. The hairy
mhm.
giants are apparently always in a terrible mood.
Yes,
And
and some
the
of these
scariest thing
giants
is
are
they're so
obviously
big.
nice because he doesn't say they're mean. He talks
Yeah,
of that hairy one being mean, that one that can
yeah,
disappear. And when he did, I said, have you ever seen it?" And he said,
yeah,
"Oh yeah, all the time."
yeah. And
And
of
I'm
course,
like,
these
"All the
things have
time?" And he's like,
supernatural
"All the
strength.
time." And
Supernatural strength can
you
pull
ever
a tree
seen it
up out of the
disappear?
ground.
Oh
Can
yeah.
all that stuff is doable, and it's just amazing to think that. But if you can imagine superheroes, it's where we get the idea of superheroes. If you think about Wolverine, you can shoot him or cut him, and here in a few minutes he's healed and right back. These
Yeah.
things are literally like that. There are accounts of them engaging with soldiers, and the soldiers equipped with lead bullets are firing on this thing, and they just don't care. Lead bullets, newsflash, will not kill the giants. Only copper bullets, copper implements. And it's very interesting that you find giants buried all over America that they cover up, by the way. But they're always have copper implements, copper armor, copper weapons.
Hmm?
Copper, for some reason, is a thing that is very effective as a weapon against the giants.
I'm gonna have to get
Weird
me a
thing.
copper spear made.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just
Something,
saying.
man, damn.
And again,
If
it's a tough
we really
subject.
knew that for a fact that that would stop, like the Bigfoot that are attacking them,
Yeah,
wouldn't that be nice? Here's a bunch of copper spears if you could take them there to give them to the
yeah,
tribals. If that would really help stop that, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Or, I bullets would be you wouldn't be able to take that because you're going into another country.
Well, I can
Spear
tell you
tips you probably won't either, but
when they went to fight the Kandahar giant, and that's a real thing in Afghanistan. I believe 2001, I believe. But they sent them in with copper bullets, and they told them, when you're a soldier, you're taught how to shoot chest high, head high, and they told them aim high. So you instinctively pull to man height. They told them aim high. That means your target is going to be a giant. And they as they go on this mission, they keep saying aim high, aim high. So these guys are like, so they
copper
literally
must be a
made,
harder bullet. Must be
yeah,
it must be a harder bullet when it hits instead of like,
yeah,
you know, uh, steel. What do they put in a bullet? Maybe that when
yeah,
that hits it,
lead.
yeah. So maybe lead kind of, a copper probably don't do that as much. Maybe I don't
I
know.
don't know what it
Maybe it
is.
doesn't work. I
There
don't
are
know. Maybe
accounts
it
of people
spreads.
shooting with lead bullets, and they do not care. But what they said was even they're shooting this giant and Kandahar giant with copper bullets in the body, and he still didn't care. And the way they brought him down was they literally shot him in the head, too. They literally
Yes.
pretty much shot his head off, and then he fell. Again, you're not shooting him in the arm and the leg and
Oh.
stopping these things. And that's just this is all learning experience for these guys who have to go battle these
Mhm.
things. And you go, oh, well, that's ridiculous. Hey man, they lost their platoon leader got impaled by this thing. And you can imagine having to watch your platoon leader slide down a giant pipe with this red-headed giant that's 14 feet tall with superhuman strength that's kicking your ass and has already eaten and kicked the ass of the troop ahead of you. There's some real heartache there that has to
Oh
be got
yeah.
over,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's a real thing. And people go, "Oh, well, that didn't happen." There are people that died on that, man. Don't disrespect that stuff, man. I'm a veteran, and I wouldn't want anyone disrespecting a real. And there are people that are going out doing hard work on these things. There are teams of people that go hunt these creatures. That's a reality, and man, they're putting their life
I
on the
don't know
line.
if
It gets
killing them's that
terrifying
easy,
stuff.
man. I don't know if killing them's that easy because obviously there's some kind of supernatural going on with the disappearing.
Yes, absolutely.
We
It
don't
is not.
disappear. There's some kind of mechanism there. I mean,
Well, I'll tell you
and
this.
and
There
and
were.
and and hold up here. And King Salem supposedly was in control of the supernatural.
I've heard that. There's stories about this. Guess what
So
else I heard? that they had giants in stasis. The government has talked about this in these containers down. And guess what they have? They have the no line. It's a line that you can't cross and get within a certain distance from these giants because literally they can invade your mind. I'm not joking. They have this ability, and if you get close enough, and we've heard some other really fantastic researchers talk about this. You really don't want to get within personal distance with these things.
More of their
Uh,
brain works. They're bigger, so they, we don't know if more side of their brain
well,
works even too, but their brain is bigger, and maybe they have powers with that. If not,
well,
maybe they are
it's very much like
supernatural.
that, and they
Maybe
say that
maybe there is a witch doctor on top of the mountain creating them. I'm not knocking it. I don't know. I mean, I'm a
it
spiritual
could
guy. I
completely be
believe in spiritual
possible.
stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe,
It could,
man.
anything
And
the native people said, and especially the chief, who I've heard that chief talk. He's a very intelligent man. These people are not dumb. They're,
no.
you know.
Mm-mm.
Well, I purport to you that he is on an island where they speak what 150 languages,
120 over 120 languages, Joe. And now
120
here's the
languages.
kicker. Check this out.
But the chief did his.
The Solomon Islanders alone, where I went
Yeah,
on Solomon's Island, maybe over in some other part there might be different, but in Solomon's Island alone, I seen maybe 11 American looking people, white people, and
yeah,
that was it. I didn't see any other foreign people except the Salem Islander people that lived there, and they
yeah. The
spoke.
island.
A lot of them spoke a broken down English.
Yeah.
You could hear their accent, which I'm sure they know
Well, I
their
think
own Salem
that's
Island
the point I
language.
was going to make. It's amazing that the
So
chief
yeah,
does his interviews in English.
yes,
He doesn't live
and
in
a lot of the
America,
tribal
but
people
he
can
knows
speak of
English.
English. A lot of the tribal people
I
can
can
speak of
speak his
English.
language, but he can speak mine. I
But
think that's very impressive.
when I returned home, I thought to myself, over 120 languages. When you Google it, that's what it says
Yeah,
about the island. And I thought to myself, is that because of all the different kind of giants, tribal giants or giants that are up there, and they all speak different languages,
well, my goodness, if
Even
it
the
doesn't
Bigfoot
speak to a
speaking?
storied history, I mean, there's a lot, and you figure an island, and people can show up on boats, and it can just happen from all different kinds of places.
Hmm?
And that's the thing about an island; it's really not.
But for them to say 120 languages, it's like, well,
Yeah,
okay, well, you think you're stepping into somewhere that's got Russian people, Chinese people,
you
Japan,
don't know.
all
Yeah,
have all kinds of people you'd think there. No,
yeah.
no, those are Solemn Island people that live
You have
there.
the islanders, and you
Yeah,
have the
and they all
giants.
look similar to each other, and they
Yeah,
all talk the same.
they're people. Yeah.
They're not,
So that's
you know what I
very
mean?
interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So it's like,
There's
why did you
something
put
to
that in there?
learn.
Was that just a key thing? Oh, there's over 120 languages. Well, I'll tell you what, in the pictures that my friend took,
Yeah.
there's probably over 120 different giants right there, or damn close to it. In all
Well, I
those
mean,
different
and
pictures,
that's a hard thing to understand.
different
It's just that,
sorts of giants and different sorts of Bigfoot looking
yeah.
creatures and different ones that look like aliens as well. I mean, so maybe there's all these different
We should put a point
languages.
in that right there. I found over and over, even on Solomon's Island, and I'll have to pull some of them up, but things that look like aliens, and they're
Yes.
not. And when you look at it, and we all know what we're talking about, when you see that bulb head and the big eyes and the thing, and they're giant.
Yes.
Many times
Yes.
they might be 20 feet, 30 feet tall, but instead of a human head, they've got an alien head, or what we would
Mhm.
call an alien head.
Mhm.
Now, what this tells you is a fact that I've sort of known for a while. These things come from underground, and they're just another part of the Nephilim, man.
Mhm.
And so, if you're thinking, and I just got a news flash for you here, and I hope I don't want to break hearts, but if you're one of those people that says, "Oh, come down with this UFO, and I'll go with you," that's a terrible idea. Uh, as well as if you were going to say, well, I'm going to go to the Solomon Islands and march out in the woods and I'll see what I can find. That is a horrible idea.
No,
It's
no,
very
you
dangerous,
do
and
not want to go in the
literally,
jungle there.
literally the native people, because they probably love you, would not let you do that. It's just a terrible idea.
You won't come back. You won't come back.
Yeah,
I
and
guarantee
so
that
this
from
is,
me to anybody. If you
yeah,
go there and you go to Solomon's Island, go to a resort and stay there, do not wander in the jungle whatsoever
absolutely, yes,
because you will see these giants, and
yeah.
I don't know if you will be able to make it back.
Well, I've told people this about deep into the Appalachian Mountains, and I've had people make fun of me for that, and I tell them, man, you just don't want me to prove this to you because I can, and it hurts. There are things in the mountains, there are things in the high mountains, there are things in the islands, in the uncharted portions, in portions where people don't go a lot. You just don't know what's there. You don't know what underground caverns are there. You don't know what live in them. And if you don't realize that these things can live, see, once you realize that giants can exist and they could be all over the world, which I figured out a while ago, and then you start finding them all over the world, you start saying to yourself this question:
Hmm.
man, am I just incredible at finding giants? Am I gifted? And then slowly you realize, no, you're fishing in a stocked pond. What you slowly realize is the giants are all over the world, and most people don't know how to recognize them. Now, that idea may sound shocking, but I can prove it because I've got thousands of pictures. That's how me and this guy hooked up, because his pictures were compelling. I've seen thousands of those, and I was like, yep, I know what those are. And we immediately here we start working on this project, and I'll tell you, man, it's going to be the most exciting thing to hit when we just show the real truth. And we're not trying to start no trouble. We don't want to pick no fights. We just want to show you the real truth about giants, and that's it.
Yes, definitely.
You know,
Well, it's
that's
been a
it.
good
We
show, Joe. Once again,
yes,
if
sir.
anybody out there knows anything about Witch Doctor and you're an islander or anything like that, or
Yes,
just a researcher, email us, leave a
we'd
message
love
in
to
the group
hear.
room. We'd love to hear about it.
Yes,
Anything, you've been abducted, you've seen Bigfoot, you've seen giants, you know anything about any information of research, share it. We'd love to hear about it, man.
absolutely. If you've got pictures, we'll look at them. I'll be glad to look at some pictures. And
Make
you know,
sure you
I've
leave a
seen a bunch.
comment under the video. Like it if you liked our video. And make sure you
Yes.
subscribe to our YouTube. And we appreciate the support. And we are going to take you all the way with us through this.
It's
So,
going to be an awesome ride, man, and we're going to tell nothing but the truth, but we're going to give it to you, man. And we believe people are ready for it. We believe people are tired of being lied to
yes.
about big issues like UFOs,
Mhm.
like Bigfoot, like giants, and
Yeah.
we're just going to shine the light of truth on that, man. And the truth,
Yes,
and
we
the
are.
chips are going to fall where they may. You
Yes,
know,
we are.
we're excited about it.
Awesome. Good to talk to you again, Joe.
Till next time, my brother.